We open in Mexico. Alex Lewis drives into a hospital parking lot. He is wearing blue hospital scrubs. After seemingly putting his car key in the visor, he puts on an ID lanyard and sighs. As he enters the hospital, a fast car enters and two men get out. One of the men, with a bouquet of flowers, has arrived to visit his mother, who is more or less catatonic. Alex is in the room, putting away supplies. As the man asks to have the room, with Alex agreeing, Alex wraps a steel garrote rope around the man's neck, violently cutting it as blood spurts out. Going back to his car, Alex texts a coded message to his handlers, telling them that contract has been fulfilled. Alex then dismantles the phone completely, putting it in the bag with the garrote. He reaches up to the visor to get his key only to not find it there. A confused, concerned look crosses his face. He pats his pockets only to find the key in one of the pockets of his scrubs. El Paso, Texas. Vincent Serra is in a man's apartment while his daughter, Beatrice, draws. The man, Leon, tells Vincent that he appeared nervous, but that is ultimately okay because he is going after what he wants. Vincent hands the man some money. This when we realize the horrifying truth. The man is prostituting his own daughter. Vincent tries to ask her about her drawings, but she is distant, thinking Vincent is just like the rest. Vincent, nervous, trying to avoid any sexual activity. Beatrice becomes more suspicious and realizes he is wearing a wire. She calls out to her father. Vincent is an undercover FBI agent and his cover has just been blown. As his team, including Linda Amist and Hugo Marquez, break the door down, Vincent struggles with the man over a gun. As the FBI agents swarm the room, the man puts a gun to Beatrice's head. Vincent tries to defuse the situation, but the man says he won't go back and is willing to kill his own child. Beatrice bites her father, giving Vincent the window to disarm him. Beatrice's father is killed in the process, leaving Beatrice angry and traumatized. Vincent's boss arrives and chews out him. As Beatrice's father was a key component of a months-long trafficking case, him being dead now basically brings everything to a screeching halt. Alex meets with his middleman Mauricio, who gives him the information for his next assignment in El Paso. Knowing he is sick, but not wanting to let his bosses know, as a weakness like that could be a death sentence for him, Alex tries to tell Mauricio that he plans to retire. Mauricio tells him that the bosses will not accept something like that. Alex goes to his room and takes some pills. He then checks his arm where his written key details, such as his fake name, hotel, and other information down. It's clear that his memory is failing him. Alex goes down to the bar. William Borden makes eye contact with Alex. He is the middleman for the job. Alex excuses himself and goes over to meet with Borden. Borden gives him a briefcase, which Alex briefly inspects. Alex goes back to his room and looks at the intelligence gathered for the first target, Ellis Van Camp. In a case, he pulls out and assembles a silenced pistol with laser sight, checking its accuracy. Vincent goes to a detention center to talk to Beatrice. She is still angry with him for the death of her father. Vincent tries to tell her what his father did was inexcusable and she did not deserve it, but Beatrice says her father justified her abuse by saying it was the cost of freedom. Vincent tells her that he is going to get her a special visa to come to the United States. It is wrong for her to have been abused, while the men that did it run free. Ellis is working in his office. A few minutes later, the door rings and Alex bursts through, holding a gun to Ellis' head. Alex tells him Ellis knows why he is there and wants the flash drives. Alex breaks Ellis' neck and places him on the sofa. He grabs the flash drives and leaves. Borden got a text message from Alex with the same coded message. The first assassination is complete. Vincent and Linda drive to the Van Camp crime scene. Vincent talks to Wendy, who says she called Nussbaum first and hasn't spoken to the police yet. Vincent says he will let Detective Mora take over. Alex goes to meet his brother, who has been confined to a retirement home with advanced Alzheimer's, which leave him unresponsive and constantly shaking. Alex tries to make talk about the past, but he realizes his brother cannot comprehend what he is saying. Alex takes a cold look at his future, his mind already fading. He will join his brother in time in the same fate. At the Child Exploitation Task Force building, Nussbaum arrives to tell Vincent and his team that the task force is being dissolved and that Hugo, a loaned agent from Mexico, is going home. Nussbaum told Vincent that if he wants to help Beatrice and get her visa approved, he will drop his objections and focus on the Van Camp murder. Vincent, wanting what is best for the girl and having no means to object, agrees. Alex follows Vincent as he drives Beatrice to her group home. He has pictures, but they are not the best ones. Vincent settles Beatrice in and tells the leader of the group home that Beatrice is both a victim and witness. Vincent says goodbye, saying he will do his best to keep tabs on her. Beatrice gives him a picture she had drawn earlier and tells him to keep it. That night, Alex breaks into the group home and finds Beatrice's room. As he shines the light in her face, she turns over. He then sees her drawings as she wakes up and he realizes the truth. She is a child, promising she won't say anything, and begs for her life. Alex is horrified and quickly leaves. Alex contacts Borden to meet him at an isolated truck stop. When Borden has his guard down, Alex attacks him. Alex is furious that the target was a child and tells Borden he won't do it. Borden says Alex is a professional and will do the job. Borden calls the businesswoman and philanthropist Devana Sealman and tells her that Alex knows about him, the flash drives, and Beatrice. He tells her that Alex wants Beatrice spared and he'll turn over the drives. Devana says she can understand Alex's point of view, but she will ultimately handle it. She then tells Borden to never contact her again. Alex is in bed with Maya at the hotel when he begins convulsing, falling to the floor. Maya wakes up and comforts him, thinking he just had a bad dream. Alex knows better. He's getting worse. The next morning, Vincent drives up to the group home, which is now a crime scene. Someone has murdered Beatrice. Vincent is horrified and furious that he could not protect her. Alex and Maya are getting dressed when he sees the news of Beatrice's murder. For a moment, Alex is not sure that he didn't do it himself and forcefully asks Maya if he was in the room all night with her. After she confirms it, he tells her he is leaving and she needs to forget ever meeting him. As Hugo is getting into a taxi to leave for Mexico, he sees the news about Beatrice being killed. He gets out of the car. He has no plans to leave yet. Alex heads to his car, but knows he is a wanted man now and gets out his gun. He goes to his car, only to find a bomb underneath. Suddenly, he is under fire. Mauricio has come to kill him. As Alex takes cover, Maya arrives, saying he forgot his pills. As he tries to push her to safety, Mauricio shoots Maya through the throat. She dies in Alex's arms, and he is saddened and enraged that she died due to him. After exchanging gunfire, Alex gets the drop on him, knocking him out cold. Alex places Maya's body in the trunk of his car. In the driver's seat, he has tied up Mauricio. Mauricio asks when he went soft, and that their bosses will kill him for this. Alex triggers the bomb, killing Mauricio. Vincent meets with Mora and learns about the car bomb, thinking it is linked to the other recent crimes. Mora says when they know more they will let Vincent know. He also gives his condolences for Beatrice's death. Hugo reconnects with Vincent, telling him he couldn't go back. Only he, Linda, and Vincent cared about Beatrice. Vincent says Nussbaum won't like it, but Hugo tells him he doesn't work for Nussbaum. Borden is at a gym, working on a treadmill. A car pulls up, the lights blinding him. A figure walks up to his window in the rain and pulls out a gun. It's Alex, keeping his promise of retribution. He shoots Borden in the head. Alex takes up residence in the basement of the abandoned bakery. In the basement, he checks the flash drives on a laptop. The first is a conversation between Ellis Van Camp and Devana. Ellis was threatening Devana with what he knew, with Devana discreetly threatening him back. On the second flash drive, he finds pictures of Devana with her son Randy. He also finds pictures and video of Randy sexually abusing Beatrice. Realizing why he was really contracted for the job, Vincent, Linda, and Hugo arrive at the Borden crime scene. Vincent successfully argues that Borden, Beatrice, and Maya's murder may be connected, so if they have a cartel hitman on the loose, they need to get ahead of it, and they need Hugo for backup. The next morning, Randy barges into his mom's office. He knows about Borden's murder and knows he will be next for what he has done. Devana tells that he needs to leave El Paso immediately. Devana can clean up the mess with Alex and then hire the best lawyers to make his crimes go away. However, he does need to get help. Randy breaks down crying and tells his mother he is sorry for putting her in this position. Devana knows what he has done, who he is, but as her only child, is willing to put the full force of her wealth and status to protect him. Vincent learns one set of .32 rounds killed Beatrice and Maya, while another set killed Borden, which means they have two shooters. Vincent gets a call. It's Alex. He tells Vincent that powerful men had part in hurting Beatrice, men like Van Camp and Borden, who he killed. He denies killing Beatrice, telling Vincent Mauricio killed her. He tells Vincent that the people behind this are too powerful. He wants to believe that Vincent is a good man. Alex knows he is a bad man, but those responsible have to pay for what they did. Hugo goes to see Will Borden's wife, who had previously noted a connection with the Van Camp family. Marianne mentions Borden was talking on the phone about a man from Mexico with Devana Sealman. At the office, Hugo relays the new information to the team. Linda notes they are going after one of the wealthiest real estate developers in the nation. Linda searches Borden's name. While he wasn't a lawyer for Devana, he was a lawyer for her son Randy. That night, on a private yacht, Randy parties. Linda, Hugo, and Vincent are there to watch him. Randy goes downstairs and coerces a waitress to go with him to his room. Vincent gets out of his car and finds the broken remnants of a pill bottle. He realizes that Alex is already on the boat and runs on board to begin to search it. Alex grabs a pillow, puts it over his head, and fires twice, killing Randy. Vincent and Linda find the body. Vincent goes back out on deck and sees Alex off the boat. He gives chase and hears a car alarm. It is a trap, however, and Alex gets the drop on him, telling him to drop his gun. Alex tells Vincent that he has done crazy things, but you don't hurt children, ever. Alex tells him he is running out of time. Vincent says he knows Alex isn't well. We all have to die, Vincent. What matters is what you do before you go, Alex says. Alex passes out in the Jeep, only for a motorcycle cop to knock on his window. As he tries to talk his way out of it, the cop sees a gun and draws his. Alex panics and accidentally shoots the cop dead. Alex goes back to the bakery and cleans his wounds, cauterizing his gunshot with liquor and fire. The next morning, Linda and Vincent hear about the death of the cop, surmising Alex got spooked. Vincent says they need to find him before El Paso PD does, as they will more or less kill him on sight. Linda says she has learned more about Alex. As it turns out, he is an El Paso resident, him and his brother. Hugo goes to check the bakery. Alex is still in the basement and hastily puts the gun back together. However, Hugo leaves soon after. Back at the office, Vincent theorizes that if Alex cannot kill Devana, he wanted Vincent to bring her to justice. However, all their evidence is tied to Alex and the only address they have is the bakery. Hugo says there is nothing there but pigeon crap, but Linda says the Jeep Alex stole had traces of pigeon crap in it. Vincent and his team go back to the bakery to find they had just missed Alex. Maura is at Sealman's building protecting her with numerous officers. Suddenly, numerous police vehicles have their alarms triggered. That is just a distraction so he can slip in. Holding an officer hostage, he gets him into an elevator to the floor Devana is on. After a brief standoff, Alex exchanges fire with the officers, incapacitating them by shooting their body armor. He runs up to the roof and the officers follow, but it is just a trick, as Alex gets on a window cleaner and shoots through a glass window to where Maura and Devana are. He knocks Maura out with the rifle before dropping it for his pistol, confronting Devana. "You killed my son," Devana says. "Yes," Alex replies. "And I know what you did." Alex grabs her and puts the gun under her chin and pulls the trigger, but nothing happens. He tries several times, but nothing happens. Maura wakes up and knocks Alex out. Back at the bakery, Linda finds something on the ground, the firing pin for Alex's pistol. He had forgotten about it. Maura, having Alex in his custody, proceeds to beat him half to death for the death of the officer Alex accidentally killed. Alex says he will only speak to Vincent, but Maura will not budge. Vincent is told by Linda they got a package from the bakery address. It is one of the flash drives that have the videos of Randy raping Beatrice. He shows this to Nussbaum, who is incredulous. Vincent wants Alex in FBI custody, but his boss doesn't want the hassle. Vincent tells his boss that it appears that powerful people don't want Alex to talk and implies what that truly means. Vincent, Linda, and Hugo go to see Alex and give him his pills, though he notes they will not do him good much longer. Alex says he wants Devana to pay, but they note she isn't tied to any of it. Alex disagrees. He knows she hired him to kill Ellis Van Camp and Beatrice. While he killed Ellis, he wouldn't kill a child. Vincent nods and agrees, knowing of Alex's past abuse. Devana is met by her doctor. She wants revenge and gives him a vial of drugs that will kill Alex. Vincent then tells Alex a story about the death of his own family. Alex says he has more evidence, a phone call that Devana made to Van Camp. However, he cannot remember where he hid it. Vincent and Nussbaum meet with his superior, Andy Villalobos, with the first flash drive. Villalobos tells them that he is glad Randy Sealman is dead. Vincent tells him Devana was covering for her son for his crimes and hired Alex to kill Beatrice. Villalobos says they cannot go on the word of a contract killer who is dying of Alzheimer's. Vincent says there is a recording of Devana threatening Van Camp. They just have to find it. As Vincent leaves, when Nussbaum asks his boss if he is up for the case they have to make, he makes it clear that he isn't. Dr. Myers sneaks into the hospital to kill Alex. However, Alex notices he doesn't use an alcohol swab and attacks him. El Paso SWAT is called into the hostage situation. Vincent and the team arrive, learning that Alex will only talk to him. Alex comes out with a sheet over his head with Dr. Myers. A sniper shoots who he thinks is Alex, but kills Dr. Myers instead. Alex had made him switch clothes. Jumping into an SUV that Vincent was driving, he quickly interrogates him. Alex realizes that Devana sent the doctor to kill him and she might kill Vincent to bury the whole case. Vincent agrees that might happen. Alex begins to stumble, misspelling Barry as Berry. Alex says Vincent once said that justice wasn't guaranteed, which Vincent agrees he said that. Resignation crosses Alex's face. "We owe it to that child, Vincent," he says. Alex drops his gun, stepping outside of the SUV, and the SWAT team gun him down. Vincent and Linda pack up the office, defeated. However, Vincent sees a picture of the bakery, which only has 4 letters left, BERY. Vincent realizes he remembered. Vincent and Linda go to the bakery and find the flash drive. Vincent plays it for Nussbaum and Villalobos. However, Villalobos says it is not enough. It is circumstantial at best. In addition, since Alex is now dead, they now have even less to go on. Most cynically, Villalobos notes even if Devana Sealman gave Alex a gun, money, and a person to kill, and she would still get away with it. Vincent loses his cool at this point, completely enraged that the institutions that are supposed to help the powerless bow down to money and power. He screams that they all know that Randy Sealman used the detention centers to prostitute children and his mother covered it up. Vincent ultimately calls his bosses cowards. For his outburst, Vincent is suspended, told to take a long leave of absence. Devana Sealman is at her mansion, playing cards in her backyard and drinking a glass of wine. Suddenly, a man comes up behind her and violently cuts her throat. Within seconds, she bleeds out and dies. Back at the bar, Vincent tells Linda he has had enough to drink. Linda reaches for her wallet but claims she forgot about it. Vincent grabs his credit card and gives it to the bartender. As he waits for the check, he sees the news report about the death of Devana Sealman at her home. Linda starts speaking in Spanish, the prayer of Saint Inez, while Vincent looks at her in shock. "Did you just give me an alibi?" Vincent asks. "Amen," Linda replies with a knowing smirk. In the desert, a man burns his clothes and throws his knife in the fire. He takes off his mask and burns it too. The man who killed Devana was Hugo. Not willing to let another injustice happen, he conspired with Linda to give Vincent an alibi while he finished the job Alex started. As no longer part of the task force, he is above suspicion. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, do take care of yourself.